Good morning once again, everyone. It's Bob Martin, the RCSubGuy with the Nautilus Drydocks, here with in the background. It is a new week. We have a weekly update video that is going to start with this little snippet. It is Monday, January the 8th, and this week's focus is going to be on Seaview and probably not a lot else. I want to get this thing in the water this week for sure for testing. Weather permitting. It's supposed to be like thunderstorms and everything today, but clearing up a little later on. So we got some stuff to do first. Let's take a look at where we're starting the week at. Okay, if you remember where we left off last week in regards to Seaview, I was waiting on the pressure vessel for the butane that I wanted to put in as the gas backup system, and that arrived. Got it off of Amazon. Now, this is a little aluminum waterproof canister, and I'm going to convert this, hopefully, if I can make it work, to a butane pressure vessel. Now, it's not massive. It's about 4 inches by 3/4 of an inch. Inside measurements, but I don't need a lot. Remember, this is a backup system. It is not the primary system. It only needs to have enough for 1 or 2 blows that will only be utilized in the case of a loss of signal event. So that is why I elected to go with this. It's pre-made. I'm not, manufacturing my own pressure vessel out of plastic or anything like that. Copper would have been a good way to go, but this was actually cheaper than getting copper pipe. Got this off Amazon for like $5. So I've just got to drill the top for an inlet fill for the butane fill valve and an outlet to go into the solenoid valve that will blow ballast in the case of that loss of signal event previously referred to. So that is what we're going to be doing today. Hopefully we'll have that subsystem all rigged up and ready to go. I'm going to need to generate some 3D files now that I have this to make some mounting bulkheads so that we can put that thing in and take it out and mount the fill valve and solenoid. So we'll be working on that today. The other thing that I've got, I'm kind of excited about. So this is something that another customer found on Amazon. This is a water detection board, and it detects both high and low in the whatever it is you're doing. Now, we're going to be using this for version 2 of the battle boats that you guys have seen us work on in the past. The way this works, there's actually a normally open and a normally closed outlet on here. So in this particular case, we've got it rigged up so that the pump will get power. It'll be in full operation. This white LED is representative of pump power. Boat is completely dry right now, and you're going off to battle. Now, throughout the course of the battle, that hull is going to fill up with water. And these are the probes. They're mounted at 3 different heights. And you can see as it fills, what's going to end up happening, that's the bottom probe, second probe, which is still at the bottom. It just knows that there's water, and now it's going to hit the top probe, which is going to be just under the deck. So you saw the white LED went out, pump power got cut, a red LED came on, that's indicating a sunk state, and return to port. So it's pretty cool. It works really good. The only thing I don't like about it is this is big. This is a big board. It's probably 2 by 2.5 inches by maybe 1 inch tall. It's going to take up a lot of real estate, but it does everything that we want it to do. And obviously, there are a lot of applications for this in a submarine. If you wanted to have a water detection circuit to see if you got water coming into your watertight cylinder, you could do this. It could automatically kick in, a pump to pump ballast, or generate a light from an LED or a piezo speaker, so that you would hear like a klaxon going off and you're taking on water. All of those are great applications. So if you've got the room in your watertight cylinder, that would be a really good idea. The other thing that you could potentially use this for is in a pump style ballast tank, so that you know where you are in terms of being at the bottom and top of your fill cycle. So lots of options in there, and they're like $9 on Amazon. Go ahead, check it out. And this has our stamp of approval so far, even though we've not yet put it in anything. Looks like it's going to be promising. I almost forgot, over the course of the weekend, we got our, or some, new shark pieces. So this is actually the same gentleman that got the original Sharky McSharkface. He wanted a new Sharky, but with all of the advancements that we put into place for Chuckles, the shark. So he paid the rather large surcharge for the larger print. I just want to show you how that turned out. So these are the parts for the 5-foot long shark. I mean, we're getting life size here. That looks pretty darn cool. I'm excited about it. The thing you guys got to know is, you know, with 3D printing, it's based off of volume, not length. So, you know, increasing the length is like an exponential increase in volume. So 5-foot shark is significantly more expensive than a 4-foot shark. But he wants what he wants, and he'll pay what he pays, and customer gets what he needs. So that's going to get queued up in the next few months for a build. Unfortunately, the thrusters that he sourced to go into there got sent to my old shop address, and so now I got to try and figure out if they got delivered and who to talk to get them over here, and then we're going to put everything all together and queue it up. But here, you can actually take a look. This will be interesting to see the difference between what a 5-foot shark and a 4-foot shark's face looks like. So here's our 5-footer, and there's our 4-footer. Same file, just scaled a little differently. You can definitely easily take the hand out, but here you might just get some fingers. You know what I mean? So because I'm waiting for parts to print on Seaview, I am going to move on to Seahund. Not to be confused with Seaview or Sequest. These are the torpedo sections from that big 6th scale Seahund, and I was worried that these were just glued together, but they totally came apart, and they're set up for seals. Now, I am not going to make this a dry hull torpedo. I'm going to make it wet and free flooding. But these will work really, really well once I get a seal in there for a friction fit body sections. That won't need to be bolted together. So this obviously is the most critical part. We've got to make these propellers functional, and we need to integrate control surfaces into the backs of the fins so that we can actually steer this thing. So gotta see what we're dealing with here. If we're lucky, I can bust these props off. These may take a little bit more for, I don't want to break the prop. Oh, it looks like there's a bolt in there. Of course, you can see that totally, right? It's only about 18 inches of shaft that I'm going to need to get in there. I wonder if these screw off. Oh, it's just spinning. No. Well, if I can get it looks like a hex head. I don't know. We'll see what we can get down there. That's a long way. We need a super long extension. All right, some good progress here. So this just came right out. I managed to find an extension for my extension for my extension for my drill. Got that all the way down to the bottom. It had a big stainless bolt on the inside that was bolting these together. Now, these are the props, and obviously the real things, the G7 Torpedoes, had contra-rotating propellers in order to mitigate torque roll, which is obviously not a good thing. I've got two options. I can do contra-rotating props, which is obviously a little bit more, complicated than a standard prop, or I could just do a standard prop. Now, these are big enough, it would be very, very easy to add a lot of weight and foam inside to create a righting moment about the central axis of the torpedo to keep it nice and level-ish. That having been said, I want to give it a try for contra-rotating. These are the motor assemblies that I used for the Delphin, and I think these are going to work really well. The one thing I was concerned about was that these props are fairly large and these motors are not overly huge. But taking a look at this, when you put this on, you can see that the propeller is basically the same diameter as the outside of the fins here. And doing a little bit of research online, this is an actual diagram or picture of an actual G7 torpedo, German torpedo. They're actually inset by quite a bit. So if we take a look at this, I would actually need to knock almost maybe like at least 1/4 of an inch, but probably closer to 3/8 of an inch off of the propellers in order to get them to be something more resembling the proper diameter for the weapon. So what I think I might do, I might chuck these up in the lathe, knock a 1/4 of an inch off the outside, round them out, make them look really, really nice. And when I do that, the surface area of the propeller should be well within the capabilities of these motors. These are going to need to get scaled down massively, or else these torpedoes are going to like hydroplane and skip along the surface of the water just like that Delphin did. But I think this is going to work well. So I'm going to go ahead and chuck this up and see how easy it is to knock some diameter off of this thing. And then I'll see if I can rig up a mounting system to run internal shafts to get some contra-rotatingness for the propellers. Modification of the propellers went really well. If we take a look at this now, when this goes in here, they're the proper diameter. Now they're not the proper shape, but rather than like redesigning and reprinting and all of that stuff, I'm just going to use these. They've got a lot of surface area. They're going to push the boat, or sorry, the torpedo along really well. And what I'm going to end up doing is using this series of black brass tubes to create an inner and outer drive shaft so that we can drive both motors independently, and we'll be able to get contra-rotating props. All right, we're wrapping up here for the day, but good progress. So the pressure vessel for Seaview is looking good. This is all like friction fit with really tight tolerance, and then I've got sealant around all of that. And I don't know why I'd want to, but I mean this would technically probably be able to be taken apart, although I think I'm going to put some adhesive around here just to seal it off permanently. But it'll look like that. Fill from here, and that's the outlet. So simple, but really good progress on the props. So what I ended up doing, I cut the tail section there so I'd have better access to the rear section. And the reason being is because I've got to work up the rear rudders. So this is what I did. They're removable. And these were the original parts. I just repurposed them with the shaft. So inside I've just got to make a little yoke, and that'll be it. I'll have the control surfaces done. It was actually fairly simple. And I'm really happy with how this turned out as well. So these are the props, really free moving. So this is the drive bushing. You probably can't see it very easily, but this is a brass bushing for the shaft, and spins really, really easily on there. But obviously the other one needs to spin independently, and this is how that one spins. It's turning out really good. So it will end up, probably end up with the motors being mounted about here. And then this will be a removable section, like a bolt-on section, so you can gain access to the motors. And then, last but not least, Logan's been working on the crew for our upcoming 48-inch Nautilus build, which those parts, those new kit parts, should be showing up within the next week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. But this is what he did. So, because we set aside the old kit, it's sitting up there if anybody's looking for a partially started kit, you know, let me know. We'll cut you a good deal on it. But these are the crewmen. So we got Nemo in his proper, you know, day-to-day attire there on the left. The dive lever crewman in the middle, and then the leftover parts of the decapitated crewman on the right.
Kind of looks like a fisherman in a nice little cigar jacket or a salon jacket.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, those turned out really good.
Did take a decent bit of time. I spent probably 2 hours across today just getting his shape right, and even so, I can still, well, being.
He's going to be behind the wheel. I mean, we're splitting hairs here. Like, you need a magnifying glass to catch any details, but
yeah, one of those things where when you're the one who built it, ever to look at it and call it great, and you're sitting there telling yourself, yeah, but there's this tiny thing, you'll never see it.
Yeah.
But I know it's there.
So we're going to shut her down for today. By the time we come in tomorrow, I'll be able to assemble and test the butane pressure vessel, check it for integrity and fillability, I guess. Should be able to charge it up and just put some power to solenoid and see if it shoots gas out. And if so, we're just going to make a little hose that loops around and vents into the ballast tank. And in theory, we'll be ready for the water. Since I'm working on this anyway, I figured I would make a little video here showing you guys the alignment of control surfaces. There are so many times that I've received boats that other people have built, and the control surfaces ended up, you know, looking in the back like this. You know, all messed up at wrong angles and not looking correct. What we have, for the most part, in most cases, are a bushing, which you're going to want for smooth operation. Don't just drill into the plastic. You want a bushing that will ensure very smooth operation of your control surface. And then you have the control shaft itself. So shaft, bushing. All right. I'm going to take that out. The way that I typically do this, I'm going to put a shaft that is of the same diameter as the shaft for the control surface. And you can see it's sloppy. It's loose in there. Well, you can't see that. Now you can see that. This is loose, right? So I'm going to take my bushings. I'm going to rough up the area that's going to be binded to the hull with adhesive. I'm going to slip this over this control shaft. Put that on that side and this on this side, if I can get this in, because I didn't round that out. Oh my goodness. Try again. There we go. So now what you can do is push these into your hull and set them at the correct standoff for the outside. And what this does is the main shaft that your control linkages would be ensures perfect alignment between the top and bottom, or left and right control surfaces. So they will be completely and utterly parallel to each other. So we're going to press these into place. So I'll show you this one, for example. So I got it down to the correct height. And then I'm going to take my adhesive and apply it to the inside. And when you do that, it ensures, because you've got like a lip inside there, that the adhesive has no chance of flowing onto the control shaft. If I were to try and glue around here, if you slip just a little bit, you'll get it on the shaft, it'll flow down, it'll lock up your entire control surface, and then you got to break things out, and it's just very, very painful. So that is how I make sure you ensure alignment for your control surfaces. Wednesday in the shop, and we are packing up Typhoon, ready to go to new owner. I just want to show you because it's like one of the things, it's like our little joys in life, our little foam packs. Now these are really expensive in the grand scheme of things. They work out to be like $2 or $3 each, but they guarantee, they go a long way to helping guarantee boats arrive safely, because you mash these up and then it expands. So what we'll do, we'll get Logan to demonstrate how this works. So go ahead and mash it up. So it mixes a 2-part foaming epoxy. And then if you wait a few seconds, it expands. Poof! Ah, it's our favorite part. And then we're just going to put the lid down just to make sure it doesn't expand beyond the constraints of the box. And after like 5 seconds, it's ready to go. So you can see it like pressed up against the lid. So now it's locked in the other bags and the stern of the boat. So we just sandwich this thing in, and once it's all done, it's perfectly conformed and cushioned and locked in place. So that's what we got going on. Today's supposed to be really nice, so like 70 degrees and partly sunny. So I'm going to finish working on the gas backup system. And then we're going to get the Seaview in the water. So we pulled another project out that we're hoping is going to be quick and easy. It's been sitting here for quite a while, and I do apologize to Eric. It was just been so insane here. But we're finally getting to it, Eric. Let's take a look at what's going on. That is a big flying sub. And this is exactly how we got it, with the exception of just kind of poking around in it. But this was all, I assume, scratch built by Eric, and I think maybe he said it was his son that helped a little bit too. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. He just basically wants us to get it going, to finish it up and get it trimmed out and get it operational. Let's take a closer look here. So there's some real ingenuity in here. Now, first and foremost, there's about 800 bolts to hold the lid down, which means it's going to be a little problematic to, get in there to maintain it and stuff. But it's got a piston ballast system, which is pretty cool. 2 rudder outputs, one for each rudder, and they're tied together, so they work in tandem. Dive planes, and that tilts these jet nozzles here, which are powered by these big bilge pumps on the side. It's a slick setup. The quality of work is really cool. I like it. The only thing is he supplied these batteries. Well, not the only thing. One of the things he supplied these batteries. These are 14.8 volt battery packs. They don't fit in there. I think he got them in the hopes of using them, but they are just a little bit too big by about 3/16 of an inch. So Logan's taking point on this. This is going to be his project to get going. Obviously, I'll be working just over here on Seaview. But, yeah, we're going to see if we can get this thing going. It's a new day here at the Drydocks, and 2 projects going on. We've got Seaview getting worked on, and Logan's taking point on the flying sub for Eric. Let's start with the Seaview. So, as I told you guys, this thing sank like a stone yesterday, when we dropped it in the pool because there was a big hole in the ballast tank that we weren't aware of. Got that addressed, so in theory, ballast tank sealed. We could drop it back in the water right now, but one thing that I did notice, this thing is exceptionally heavy, so I'm just going to take the opportunity right now to jam as much foam into this boat as I possibly physically at all can. This is going to be really challenging because of this designed water line that everybody is so frantic to have this thing floating at. It eliminates the utilization of said area for flotation, which means it's low, which means I'm going to have a hunch that this is going to be an incredibly unstable boat, at least in surfaced trim. So again, just to let you know, if I need to compromise that waterline, I will do it in a heartbeat for a properly operational boat. Just saying. But I started jamming foam in the back using sections, and these are actually all friction fit. The only ones that are glued are actually on the bottom, which I didn't need to because the ones on top are holding it all down. But these are all completely locked in place, which means, I don't know why you would, but if you ever needed access back there, it's just a matter of pulling them out and then putting them back in the correct order. Now, I'll probably have to adhere some to the sides in here, but yeah, we will see how that ends up working in the very near future. All that said, let's talk to Logan, see what he's got going on with the flying sub.
I am in the middle of installing the ports for the LED outputs. I'm just trying to get this in a little bit first. There we go. This port was already here, and it actually had two of these nice little connectors. So I can just go ahead and solder some wires onto those and basically have a nice easy way to have a positive and negative port directly into the waterproof container.
Yeah. And then what do we have going on the printer right now? What's our plan back here? What was the situation?
So the problem is, back here, these couldn't turn or rotate very well as long as the whole length of the tube was in them, because the tube would have to crumple and fold in order for these to go up and down. So we're redesigning it so that the tube will end, it's a little hard to demonstrate, but farther back, maybe back here, connecting to an apparatus that allows it to just funnel all the water out through here without directly touching it.
Yeah, so like a nozzle that'll be just flush with the back of this nozzle. So a nozzle in front of the nozzle. And then this will just redirect the flow. We're hoping that that's going to work really well. Like right now, this is when we connect both of those hoses, those are super hard to turn, right? Mm-hmm. And the hoses are like crumpling and all that stuff. So not ideal. We got on the printer right now, though, those new parts, as well as the parts for the torpedo back there. So hopefully those will work this time. We're having a heck of a time with the prints not working. Failed prints.
Yeah, although we just replaced the film on one of them, so that should hopefully fix it.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, so working on the lights, working on the nozzles, and working on the foam.
Alright, so we've made some really good progress on this so far. We have gotten one side, or one of the fittings installed. Other over here. And we figured we would just use these little copper 45s to try, and we were planning on doing is setting up a connection for these. Having them go through and connect over. However, once we got to installing things, we found out it actually works out super well on its own. With only a little bit of moving some things back and forth, you get this kind of perfect alignment. And with our new changes, because there's no interference with the rotation, it's super nice and loose, so it should fix our problems, but still give us the same effect of directing the water out the vents and giving us the...
That's the theory. So in neutral, there's, what, how big is that gap? Like 1/8 of an inch, maybe?
Yeah.
So the water should go blasting through. Can you pick the stern up so we can try and get a video? There we go. So that's the nozzle. You can see it goes like straight down the middle of these nozzles. So all the water pressure is focused in the center of these things. And then as you tilt, that's when it engages the water stream and creates the pitch moment. In theory, we'll see. If we need to, we could even add a vein in the middle if we need more, but I think this is going to work really good. So, and then you also did lights?
Oh, yeah. Where did they go? I did the lights, I swear. They're around here somewhere. Well, I got the port right here.
Yeah, that's the power tap for the lights.
Where are the actual lights? They have been sacrificed to the engineering gods. What the heck? Did I knock them off? I mean, they were right here. It's not like I brought them anywhere.
Yeah, they're not installed. There, you can see the holes that they're going to be installed in right there. But they're big, bright, white, 10mm LEDs.
Have the bag over here.
Oh, you just haven't put them in yet?
No, I have. There used to be 4 in this bag.
Oh, those are just 2 extras.
Yeah, I just thought I'd show off.
Okay. All right, well, you can find the LEDs that you worked on. But the LEDs are rigged up. The LED port is rigged up. The jets or propulsions are almost done. I think the linkages are going to be pretty easy. We got to figure out the battery situation and a battery charging port situation. But good progress. Like it. So Logan found the LEDs in this is like what's that?
Where's Waldo?
Where's Waldo? Yeah. So. Can anybody see them?
Pause now and take your bets as to which of these wires is actually LEDs.
So grab them out. Alright, there we go. There's our LEDs, and you can see those big monstrous 10mm LEDs. Hopefully white, not red.
Hopefully. Having said that, red would be cool, but
I guess.
I don't think an attack flying
not
stuff
very,
makes sense.
Not very movie accurate, I don't think. Or show accurate, whatever you want to call it. Alright, so mystery solved. Okay, that is going to wrap things up for the week. Seaview was a bit of a disappointment. We're having some massive trim issues. We're going to have to try and tackle this again. Maybe Dive Tribe tomorrow. We'll reach out and see what the group thinks. Flying Sub's coming along pretty good, though. I'd be willing to bet we'll get that in the water next week.
Yeah, all we have to do is finish getting the jet set up. But the linkage arms are pre-made. All I need to do is get some wheel collars, replace them with stainless steel set screws so they don't rust on us. It'll take me 5 minutes to get installed. We just need to finish our problem with... right now, our brass inserts that we've done for the jets are getting in the way. Once we knock those back a little bit, they'll be clear of the watertight box, and they'll all put together.
Yeah, I didn't pay attention when we did that, so our fancy jet passages are interfering with the watertight box installation. But we came up with a super easy installation. We just got to trim one end of the brass off, and we'll be good to go. Throw some foam in there, some weight in there, and yeah, we'll be going. So, with that, we're going to let you go for yet another week. Thanks for joining us. On behalf of myself, Bob Martin, the RCSubGuy of the Nautilus Drydocks, and
Good.
have a great weekend. And we'll catch you guys next week.